When others get reincarnated, they come back as tiger lords or dragon kings. But you come back as a carp in a wet market. One wrong move and you're someone's dinner. Lucky for you, you've been granted the Last Gasp System. Survive each day, and you evolve without limit. The catch? Right now you're stuck fighting the other fish in the tank for scraps. You're too small to compete, so you've been surviving on whatever the others leave behind. At least your size has kept the customers from picking you. Then, 1 week later, a streamer named Jay holds his phone up to the tank and grins at the camera. Alright guys, we're doing something fun today. My new Arapaima is picky, so Jay's here to find it some live snacks. The chat explodes. Jay's at it again, and just like that, you're yanked out of the water before you can even react. A massive hand clamps down on your gills like a vice. The world spins, and then you're dropped into a dry plastic bag. No water, not a drop. The suffocation hits instantly. Your gills thrash wildly inside the bag. Every breath pulls in nothing but thin, stale air. Your vision starts to blur. Your tail slaps weakly against the plastic, making a dry, rasping sound. Meanwhile, the stream is going wild. Ha! Look at that carp go! Jay, not even a drop of water? You're ruthless. I'll bet it doesn't last 3 minutes. Jay glances at the chat and grins. Relax, guys. This is exactly the kind of content we're here for. Just tossing some live feed to the Arapaima. Nothing fancy. Even as he says it, he loosely ties the bag's opening, deliberately leaving a small gap. That tiny trickle of air feels less like mercy and more like a cruel joke. Good enough, as long as it's still breathing when we get home. It's just fish food anyway. Inside the bag, your consciousness starts to fade, and then the system's voice detonates in your mind like a thunderclap. Ding! Player detected near death. Talent activated. Last gasp. Temporary muscle burst effect engaged. Boom. A force unlike anything you've ever felt detonates from deep within your withered body. Every muscle snaps taut at once. Like a steel whip at full tension. Crack! You split the plastic bag wide open. Your body launches out on a burst of pure force and slams onto the fishy concrete floor below. The chat erupts. No way! This carp is insane. Jay, look at it. It actually broke out. Something's wrong with this fish. That move was not normal. Jay stares, frozen. He watches you writhing on the floor, eyes narrowing into slits. Interesting. He crouches and lunges for you. You thrash with everything you have. Your scales carve deep red lines across his rough palm. Jay hisses in pain and loses his grip. You hit the floor with a slap. Your gills strain with each breath, every inhale thick with the taste of blood. The chat goes absolutely wild. It fought back? Jay, this fish is a mutant. Don't feed it, keep it. Others quickly pile on. A carp with this much will to live? That's peak content right there. Jay stares you down, lips curled in contempt. Relax, guys. It's a carp. What's it gonna do? But something in your defiance has lit a fire in him. He digs out a heavy-duty bag from his pack, doesn't even glance at you, grabs you outright, scoops up a few other carp, and stuffs them in at once. This time he leaves no gap at all. Let's go, he says and heads home humming to himself. The bag swings in his hand, bone dry, not a drop of water. Through the hazy plastic you can see the other carp already going still. Only you keep twitching, clinging on with every bit of your newly boosted constitution. Jay turns the camera on the bag. See that, guys? That's fate. 20 minutes from the market. Not a single drop of water, still alive. Jay, that's brutal. Come on, this is totally standard. I bet it dies before we get there. Jay scoffs and casually hurls the bag forward. Dead is dead. It's just fish food. The world spins. Oxygen deprivation swallows your mind again, but the system cuts through the haze, sharp and clear. Ding, player approaching critical condition. Last gasp activation, 78%, 85, 92. No, I am not dying like this. You force your gills to pump. Your tail twitches faintly, building toward one final burst. Jay's apartment is on the 5th floor. Of course the elevator is out. He curses his way up the stairs, and somewhere around the 3rd floor his phone rings. Something about tonight's stream. What? The platform wants what? Are you serious? He flings his arm out in frustration, and the bag carrying you swings wide, then, smack, slams into the sharp corner of the stair railing. The bag bursts open. Oh no! Jay grabs instinctively, but all he feels is a slippery flash of scales. A split second later, in front of over 2,000 live viewers, you trace a perfect arc through the air and crash hard onto the concrete landing. The dull thud echoes through the stairwell. The chat goes dead silent, then detonates. Oh no! That height plus concrete? There's no coming back from that. Jay, you really messed up. Jay saunters down the steps, aiming the camera at the floor. Relax, guys, just... He stops. On screen, you, who should be completely finished, suddenly twitch. Your gills strain open and shut. Your tail quivers. And then, impossibly, you begin propping yourself up on your pectoral fins, inching millimeter by millimeter toward a thin smear of moisture on the wall. The chat is stunned. Am I actually seeing this? No way. It's still alive? I'm screen recording this. This is going viral. Jay is completely floored. He crouches down and films up close. Guys, you are witnessing a miracle right now. Just then, with zero warning, your tail whips, crack, and a splash of bloody fluid lands perfectly across Jay's camera lens. The stream erupts. Ha 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 ha. The fish just smacked Jay in the face. This carp has a whole backstory. Followed. I'm staying for this fish. Jay snatches you up, a flicker of irritation in his voice. Lucky little thing. Doesn't matter. In the end, you're still just fish food. He drops you into a small portable tank, barely enough water to cover the bottom. Some in the chat beg him to take care of you. Jay waves it off. A common carp? Come on, do you know what I've got in that tank? Every single one of my fish is worth more than this thing. He gives the tank a little shake, stares at you barely clinging to life and smirks. Making it this far? I'll give you that. Then the camera swings to the living room, and a floor-to-ceiling tank fills the entire screen. Inside, an Arapaima nearly a meter long glides slowly through the water. Its dense, overlapping scales look like the armor of an ancient general. See that? That's the real star. Jay slaps the tank proudly. Tonight I'll show you what a true apex predator from the Amazon looks like. Chat chimes in. Let's go already. I bet the carp doesn't survive 3 seconds. Stop stalling, Jay. Let's do this. Jay ignores them, busy adjusting his lights and camera angles for the evening stream. You sit forgotten on the coffee table, resting still in the shallow water, gills barely moving, gathering whatever strength you have left, waiting for what's coming. At exactly 8 o'clock that evening, Jay updates his stream title, Wild J, Tropical Fish Night. He steps in front of the camera wearing sunglasses, beaming with excitement in front of the massive tank. Inside, the water is held at a steady 30 degrees Celsius, and over 30 species of tropical predators patrol the water. Jay taps the glass and looks straight into the lens. All right, everyone, tonight's show starts now. He picks up the bag holding your companions. Let's start with the warm-up. He dumps the half-dead carp straight into the tank. Remember, these carp were pulled from near-freezing market water. My tank sits at a steady 30 degrees. That kind of temperature shock? It hits them like a wall. He's barely finished speaking when the carp hit the water and thrash like they've been dropped into boiling oil. The biggest one's gills flare wide, its tail spasms a few times. Then it goes still. The second, the third. One by one, every carp goes rigid and floats to the surface. The Arapaima drifts over, unhurried, and opens its cavernous mouth. Water and fish disappear in a single gulp. The chat loses it. Incredible. They didn't even fight back. Time for the main event, Jay. He holds up a hand. Patience. This next one survived a 4-story drop. Splash. You're poured directly into the scalding water. Searing pain erupts across every single scale. What is this? The heat is unbearable. Your gills pump frantically, every breath like swallowing burning sand. Your tail seizes up on instinct, muscles on the verge of tearing from the extreme temperature shift. Ding. Player has entered high-temperature water. Current temp 30 degrees Celsius. Exceeds host's normal physiological tolerance. Warning, biological functions destabilizing. Vitality draining rapidly. System, help me, you scream inside your own mind. Huge dark shapes glide toward you through the water. The Arapaima, an alligator gar, a Bichir. Their scales catch the light like cold metal. They close in. This is it. In the moment you give up hope, the Bichir, silver-white, sleek as a blade, locks onto you first. Its tail drives like a propeller. It launches straight at your flank like a living torpedo. The threat of death jolts you awake. Move. You slam your tail as hard as you can, forcing your body into a brutal hairpin turn. The Bichir's teeth graze across your scales and shear off 3 of them in an instant. The pain nearly blacks you out, but you can't stop. You dive wildly toward the driftwood at the bottom. What is this place? The murky water warps your vision. Massive creatures circle in every direction. You wedge yourself into a crack in the driftwood, gills heaving, wide-eyed with terror as you take in this underwater nightmare. Then the system speaks. The first time in what feels like forever. Ding! Passive talent Last Gasp triggered. Player survival instinct has reached its peak. Water temperature detected at the absolute upper limit of player's enhanced constitution. Player, remain calm. The moment the system finishes, you feel it. The burning hasn't eased at all, but your body has started adapting at a frantic pace. Your gills are actually beginning to pull oxygen from this near-boiling water. I can survive this. But before you can catch your breath, the Bichir has already wheeled around and is closing in on your hiding spot again. It seems to have memorized their scent, jabbing its pointed snout into every crack in the wood. Its teeth snap open and shut with a click. Back off. Please back off. You pressed yourself flat against the bottom of the driftwood, not daring to move a single fin. Then, thud, something heavy hits the outside of the tank, Jay's knuckles. By now the chat is absolutely going off. No way. It actually dodged the first wave? Jay, are you sure that's a regular carp? That reaction speed is insane. Fish of the year. Jay waves them off. It's just a lucky fish. You've never seen a fish jump before? He slaps the glass again. Welcome to my aquatic prison. Watch. With predators like these, it won't last 10 minutes. The tank's LED lights blaze down on you from above. In the glare of his phone screen, Jay's face is dark as iron. Over 1,000 viewers are hammering the chat now. I'm dead. The Bichir can't even handle a single carp. Jay's losing badly and I'm here for it. You said it'd die instantly. This carp is something else. Jay's jaw tightens. He grabs 3 fat grass carp and holds them up for the camera. Let me show you all what actual fish food looks like. The moment they hit the water, the tank ignites. The Bichir lunges first. The silver arowana clamps down on the fattest one. Blood blooms through the water. The remaining 2 are torn apart by a red-tailed catfish and an alligator gar lurking in the shadows. The chat comes alive. Now we're talking. More! This is exactly why I'm here. Jay wipes his hands with a satisfied smirk. He taps the glass hard with one finger, sending ripples rolling through the water around you. See that? The carp before was just lucky. He leans close to the lens, smirk spreading. If that carp lives to see tomorrow morning, I'll wash my hair upside down on stream. Meanwhile, inside the tank, you're pressed into the shadow of the driftwood cluster. Every scale on your body is trembling. The 30-degree water wraps around you like liquid fire. Every breath burns. Through the clouded water you can clearly see the remains of the grass carp drifting nearby. Half a tail still twitches in reflex. Ding! Player in high-temperature water, 47 minutes. Surface damage detected. 3 tail scales lost. Warning, Arapaima entering hunting range. Your eyes snap to the right. The silver giant, nearly a meter long, is cruising slowly in your direction. Its armored scales scrape against the decorative rocks, making a sound that sets your teeth on edge. To the left, a squad of 5 piranhas weaves through the water plants. Their crimson eyes glint in the darkness. System, give me something useful. Daily survival reward, pain resistance +1, now active. Note, when finding cover, be aware, you exhale inside your own mind. You lock onto the ceramic filter housing 2 meters away. The strong current there is a natural barrier, but reaching it means crossing open water with 0 cover. You draw in a deep breath, coil your tail, and go. The ripple you create alerts the Bichir on patrol. It spins and launches straight at you. Not good. You pour on the speed, but the Bichir is faster. 3 centimeters. 2. 1. Just as its teeth are about to close on your tail, you wrench your body sideways and force yourself into a crack in the rock. Crack! The Bichir's teeth slam into solid stone. The sharp crack of impact echoes out. The pain sends it into a rage. A flash of silver bursts from the shadows. The Bichir strikes from the side, driving straight for your eye like a thrown blade. At the last possible moment you drop hard, letting its teeth rake across the top of your head, shearing off a sliver of your dorsal fin. The pain whites out your vision, but you can't stop. You roll with the momentum and drive hard toward the filter. Thud! Your body crashes into the ceramic housing, but you're through, wedged into the narrow gap behind it. The Bichir paces outside in frustration, then finally gives up. The chat detonates. It's using terrain! Did it literally just bait the Bichir into hitting the wall? Jay, your fish are garbage. Jay's expression goes completely dark. He rubs his reddened eyes, then grabs a long-handled net. Alright guys, time to raise the stakes. The tank lid crashes open. He stirs the water violently, sending driftwood and plants tumbling in every direction. Your cover is instantly blown. The Arapaima jolts awake, its massive body swinging around. When that silver shadow falls over you, you can see the ridged structures inside its throat. Cornered and out of options, you do something completely insane. You dive straight toward the electric eel's nest at the bottom. Crack! Blinding blue light detonates through the water. The entire tank becomes a pulsing blue cube of electricity. The Arapaima convulses and recoils. You seize the moment and bolt for the surface. Before anyone can react, you throw everything into one explosive leap. Jay, standing on a stool, hovering his phone over the surface, only sees a dark shape rocket upward, and then your tail connects hard with his face. The live feed freezes on the ceiling. The chat goes absolutely feral. Ha 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 ha, he got played by a fish. That counter was unreal. This carp is on another level. By the time Jay scrambles to pick up his phone, you're already back in the deepest corner of the tank. The viewer count isn't dropping, it's climbing, breaking 1,000 again. Jay's roar shakes the camera. Everyone follow this channel. I'm telling you, this carp will not survive tonight. It's just a dying struggle. Tomorrow we check the results. And with that, the stream cuts to black. Jay stares at the tank with cold, hard eyes, gaze settling on his beloved Arapaima. A worthless carp. Thinks it can take over my tank? At 1:47 in the morning, the only light in the tank comes from the distant glow of the street outside. You're curled behind the filter, every scale aching. Do these things ever sleep? You watch the predators still circling through the dark, and you actually find yourself missing the fish market. Back there, at least nothing was trying to eat you. Compared to this, that place was paradise. Ding! Player survival time, 7 hours and 23 minutes. Current injury level moderate. Dorsal fin torn. Tail scales missing. Warning. 3 alligator gars have entered hunting mode. Your gills clench. 3 creatures that look like they crawled out of prehistory are circling the mid-level water, their dagger-like teeth catching the faint light. To your right, the golden dorado sweeps its bulging eyes across every corner of the tank. How many killers does this guy keep in here? Then a pitch-black ghost knifefish glides past like a shadow. You instinctively press deeper into your hiding spot, and back into something hard. The Florida snapping turtle, the one that never moves from the bottom. It's slowly opening its tiny eyes, and then, as if receiving some silent signal, every predator in the tank stirs at once. The silver arowana moves first, its long body slicing towards you like silver lightning. You throw yourself sideways. Its teeth graze the edge of your gill, tearing away a strip of bloody skin. You gasp in pain but don't stop, riding the force of its blows straight toward the driftwood, only to come face to face with the golden dorado's wide-open jaws. At the last instant, you wrench your body around, your tail slamming with a thud that startles the nearby red-tail catfish into lurching back, which crashes right into the golden dorado and knocks it off course. But you're far from safe. A 2-pound tarpon has somehow looped around behind you, and its razor teeth sink into your tail. The pain blacks out your vision. You thrash with everything you have, dragging the tarpon with you straight into the heater rod. It hisses. Blisters erupt across its skin. The tarpon screams and thrashes in pain, releasing you. You dive into the dense Amazon sword plants, and hear a crack. The Florida snapping turtle is right here. It bites through the plant's roots in one crunch. Are you kidding me? You scream inside your own mind and spin, only to meet a massive mouth lined with bony ridges. The Polypterus, the ancient one, At 42 minutes past midnight, you've lost count of how many times you've barely escaped. Your left eye is gashed, your vision clouded, your dorsal fin is nearly split in two. Every breath drives a stabbing pain through the wound in your belly. Ding. Last gasp talent activated. Pain suppression 60%. Muscle burst power up 30%. Without this talent, you'd have died a dozen times over. But alive doesn't mean painless. It still hurts like hell. Through the haze of pain, you watch the 80-centimeter Arapaima finally begin to move. The true ruler of this tank is coming to end this himself. Its massive body parts the water, sending tremors through the sand at the bottom. Is this really the end? You stare at the shadow growing larger, your tail twitching on its own. Then you spot something. A glint on the tank wall. The feeding hatch, the one Jay forced open last night. The edge is still slightly open. The Arapaima's jaws are inches away. You slam your tail against the bottom rock with every last scrap of strength and somehow thread through the gap of its gill cover, trailing a string of blood droplets. Riding that burst of momentum, you rocket toward the surface like a bullet. In the instant before the hatch closes, smack! Your body is halfway into the feeding tube. The Arapaima slams into the tank wall in fury. The whole tank shudders. You wriggle the rest of the way in. This narrow tube, it's a blind spot. You gasp in the darkness, watching the predators pace outside through the crack. Your bloody mouth splits into something like a grin. Just wait. Tomorrow I'll be stronger. I will not die. I will survive. And when I'm strong enough, I will own this tank. The first night passes. At 10:15 the next morning, Jay flicks on the stream. Relax, people. With wounds like that, there's no way. His voice stops dead. On screen, a battered carp slowly drifts into view. One gill cover is completely gone. Its tail fin hangs in shreds. But the most shocking thing is the gash on its head, deep enough to see bone. It catches the light with a grotesque gleam. The chat reads, "How is it still alive looking like that? No way. Jay, does your face still hurt?" Jay nearly drops his phone. He stares, the corner of his mouth twitching. Impossible. His voice jumps an octave. He slams his fist on the coffee table. "It won't survive until noon. Look at these wounds." He shoves the lens closer, filling the screen with shredded tail fin and exposed gill tissue. "These injuries are fatal, and yet here it is. Last flicker before it dies." Jay breathes deep and puts the cocky face back on. "Guys, relax. It's just the final spark." He heads to the mini-fridge, pulls out a bag, and holds it up. "Let me show you what real fish food looks like when it meets its fate." Splash, splash. 5 plump goldfish pour into the tank. The Arapaima drifts over, unhurried, and swallows fish and water alike in one gulp. A crimson mist of blood filters through its gills. The other predators devour their shares just as fast. The red haze spreads through the water. Chat erupts. "Insane. Wait, something's weird. Why aren't they eating the injured carp? Look, it's using the blood cloud as cover, slipping toward the filter." Jay scoffs. "It won't make it." Before he finishes, the black ghost knifefish shoots from the shadows and drives straight at your belly. At the last possible second, you snap into a hard turn. The knifefish's teeth leave nothing but a fresh scratch on your already ruined tail fin. The chat loses its mind. "That movement! Is your face okay, streamer? Need some ice? Give the carp more screen time." Jay smirks and ignores every word of it. "Forget the carp. Check out my real collection." He pivots to show off his prized fish one by one, deliberately keeping you out of frame. But nobody's watching anything else. Every single viewer is waiting to see what the scarred carp will do next. At 11:47 at night, the tank goes dark. You're curled behind the filter, every inch of muscle shaking with pain. Today's escapes have burned through almost everything you had left. What rotten luck. Ding! Player survival time, 48 hours and 12 minutes. Current infection level, 41% and climbing. Warning, body temperature rising abnormally. You reach out to the system. With what little strength you have left. How much longer can I survive? Based on current status, probability of surviving until tomorrow, 29.7%. Recommend finding antibiotic material immediately. You strain your eyes, scanning the tank floor, and spot a few blue pellets near the bottom. Fish medication Jay dropped in earlier. But 3 African tigerfishes are camped right on top of them, eyes glowing a faint cold green in the dark. You have no choice. You start moving, slowly, and your damaged scales immediately draw the patrolling black ghost knifefish. Just as it closes in, a memory from a past life flashes through your mind. You slam your tail against the heater tube. Boom! The metallic clang travels through the water. The knifefish freezes instantly, and even the Arapaima across the tank reacts. In that split-second window, you arrow toward the bottom. The African tigerfishes sense you coming. But just as they turn, the Arapaima's massive body sweeps through the water like a moving wall, scattering all 3 tigerfishes in every direction. You dart in and snatch 2 pellets in your mouth, and spin to run. Snap! The Florida snapping turtle's teeth graze across your belly, tearing away a blood-soaked scale, but you're back in safe cover. Broad-spectrum antibiotic intake detected. Infection rate slowing. You rest behind your shelter, letting your body recover. At exactly midnight, the system chimes right on schedule, drawing today's random reward. Congratulations! Basic regeneration obtained. Wound healing speed increased by 400%. Duration, 12 hours. Bonus attribute, player constitution talent points plus 10. Permanent. A wave of warmth floods through you. You feel your body changing in real time. At 4 times the normal speed, you can almost watch your wounds close. And more importantly, those 10 permanent constitution points make you feel fundamentally stronger from the ground up. This is the turning point. You test your body carefully, feeling the new strength flowing through you. Through the murky water, the predators are still patrolling endlessly, but your eyes no longer hold only fear. Just wait. Your bloodied mouth curves into something like a smile. Tomorrow will be better. At 7:05 in the morning, Jay shoves the door open with half a sausage hanging from his mouth and tosses his bag aside. Packets of fish food scatter across the floor. His stream title now reads, Predator Tank, Arapaima, good morning. He props up his phone and mumbles, let's see how many people showed up today to watch that carp finally die. The light sweeps across the tank, and Jay's hand freezes midair. The sausage falls from his lips. On camera, the carp that everyone had written off is gliding steadily through the mid-level water. The scar on its head is still brutal, but its movement is noticeably stronger and steadier than before. The chat detonates. No way, no way. The healing on this fish is absolutely insane. Jay's biggest hater checking in. Ha 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 ha, the streamer lost his bet. Viewers start sending flower gifts to the stream. Jay's hand is visibly shaking. He grinds a fallen cigarette under his foot in frustration. Everyone calm down. He forces himself steady, but his voice jumps a full octave. It's just a scab. 3 days. It's dead in 3 days. I stand by that. He swings the camera back to his prized fish. But today's chat is different. The conversation keeps coming back to you. More and more viewers are demanding you get more screen time. Jay seethes, pretending not to see it. Meanwhile, inside the tank, you keep stealing glances at Jay as he streams, burning every detail of his face into your memory. This is the guy who bought you as fish food. The fury builds inside you. Every bit of suffering over these past few days, every near-death moment, all of it is because of him. You think you can treat me like a snack? Just wait. I will not let this go. Late that night, the stream ends. The tank goes dark. Player survival time 72 hours and 17 minutes. Status, moderate injury, slowly recovering. Hunger level, slowly recovering. A cramping pain stabs through your belly. Nearly 3 days without a real meal, and the rapid healing has burned through massive reserves of energy. You are starving. Jay only feeds live prey to the big ones. There's nothing left for you to take. You have to find food. Your eyes sweep the entire tank. 2 red-tailed catfishes are drifting near the decorative rock formation, twitching and circling each other, and right between them sits the last scrap of meat left over from last night's feeding. A plan takes shape. You drift your tail fin slowly, drifting closer like a falling leaf, looking as fragile as something that might die any second. The injured redtail spots you first, gills flaring in warning. You pause deliberately in front of it, then fake sudden panic and dart straight toward the other one. The injured redtail snaps into a rage and charges at you. The moment before impact, you cut a hard turn. Its pointed snout grazes your scales and slams straight into its rival. Both redtails lock together instantly, scales flying everywhere. They churn the water into a murky swirl. You dart in from below and snatch the scrap with pinpoint precision. The taste of food blooms across your mouth. It's barely the size of a fingernail, but right now it might as well be a lifeline. You watch the 2 redtails still tangled up, and something in your expression turns cold. This tank is turning you into a hunter. You hover in the rock crevice, carefully surveying the aftermath. The water is still clouded, drifting with scales and threads of blood. The injured predators have lost their swagger, drifting weakly in the corners. Your gaze cuts through the wreckage, locking onto the darkest corner at the far end of the tank, the Arapaima's territory. A thought detonates in your mind. What if I could make it stop targeting me? You know exactly what the Arapaima is, the undisputed ruler of this tank. Even the piranhas don't dare touch its territory, and you are the weakest, most insignificant thing in here, walking the line between life and death every single day. Any single piranha could end you, but this tank has its own code. Every top predator has its territory. The Arapaima roams freely during the day, but at night it always retreats to the far right corner of the tank to rest. If you could slip into that resting zone, or shadow it during the day, you'd be safe. Its sheer size is the most powerful shield in the tank. Nobody gets close to it. Tucked beneath it, you'd be the safest creature in the whole tank. Decision made. No more hesitation. You ease your tail into motion, checking the new wound on your tail. The bleeding has stopped, but every pulse of pain reminds you just how exposed you are. You need a better position. The filter and the rocks aren't enough. Using the floating debris as cover, you creep slowly toward the Arapaima's territory. The closer you get, the more you feel it. A deep, rhythmic vibration moving through the water. The Arapaima's breathing. Almost there. You stop behind a flat rock and hold completely still. From this angle, you can make out the giant silhouette. Silver-gray scales gleaming like tempered metal in the dim light. Its massive body rising and falling with each slow breath. And then you notice it. There's a fresh wound on its left gill cover, almost certainly from the brawl earlier. Your mind screams with excitement. You quickly pick up a drifting piece of water plant in your mouth. You're mimicking a cleaner fish, the kind that grooms parasites off larger fish in the wild. You edge forward, slowly, while screaming inside your own head. Please don't turn around. Please don't panic and swallow me. Your heart pounds like it's trying to break your ribs. You inch toward the wound on its gill cover. When you're about half a meter away, you stop. You gently release the water plant and let the current carry it slowly toward the wound. Then, the Arapaima's eye shifts. Its enormous body twitches slightly. You go completely rigid. You don't even let your gill covers move. Time stops. Every second stretches out like a century. And then, finally, it settles back into that slow, heavy breathing rhythm. It's working. A surge of wild joy floods through you. This giant doesn't even register you as a threat. Makes sense, you're not even a snack to something this size, let alone a danger. Over the next few hours you play this razor edge game over and over. At first you offer water plants from a distance, then gradually close the gap, occasionally bringing over sunken food crumbs as well. Every single movement is calculated to stay just outside its reaction threshold. And before long, when moonlight filters back through the curtains, you can get within 30 centimeters, and it doesn't react at all. For fish, that distance is basically nose to nose. The final phase. You draw a deep breath and prepare for the last and most critical move. Everything comes down to this. The night is dead quiet. You make the boldest move yet. You ease toward the space beneath its flank, where a flat stone sits, practically made for you to rest on. Easy. Don't rush. Stay steady. You coach yourself silently, every scale on your body standing on end, every muscle coiled, ready to bolt at any moment. You fan your tail the tiniest amount, barely disturbing the water, drifting like a feather. Then, the moment your tail fin barely grazes its flank, the giant's gill cover snaps wide open. The motion hits you like a thunderclap. Your mind goes completely blank. Your whole body turns to ice. You brace for the end. But, incredibly, the Arapaima simply gives its tail a gentle flick, shifts its position, and actually makes more room for you. You freeze in stunned disbelief. Several seconds pass. Then a wave of pure, overwhelming joy crashes over you. You move fast, settling carefully onto the flat stone. The current from the Arapaima's breathing delivers the richest oxygen you've had in days, and its massive body stands over you like an unbreakable fortress wall. It actually worked. Your heart feels like it's about to explode. The plan worked. With the Arapaima as your shield, as long as that streamer doesn't do something crazy again, you finally have backup. You pull yourself back quickly. Careful. You have to stay cautious. Nothing in this tank is friendly. They're all dangerous in ways you can't fully predict. Who's to say this giant won't swallow you like a snack on a bad day? Thinking this, you quietly drift just a little further away. The first rays of morning light reach the tank. The water stirs back to life after a long, silent night. Splash! A reckless piranha drifts too close. The Arapaima erupts. Its massive tail swings like a hammer, and the piranha is launched through the water, slamming into the tank wall and going limp on impact. And you, right there at the Arapaima's side, completely untouched. You even dart out at just the right moment to snatch the half-chewed food the piranha spat out as it was knocked unconscious. Looks like you picked the right ally. You quietly celebrate inside. You watch the Arapaima's reaction carefully and find that it doesn't seem bothered by you. Actually, it's not that it isn't bothered. It has never once looked at you directly, which makes sense. Jay always feeds it live fish several times your size. Why would it give you a second glance? Finally, for the first time, you feel something close to stable. The nerves that have been wired tight for 3 straight days can finally ease a little. Since the moment you arrived in this tank, you have barely rested for more than 3 full days. Every moment was either running from something or recovering from it. If not for the system, any other carp in your place would have been dead long ago. Wait, the system, you suddenly remember. Today's random reward, you haven't claimed it yet. System, draw reward. Ding, drawing daily survival reward. Congratulations, agility attribute +1. Late that night, at 2:17 in the morning on a major streaming platform, someone cuts together a 3-minute, 27-second video of your encounters with Jay over the past few days, sets it to a pumping soundtrack, and posts it with a title that stops people cold. 3 days, won't die. What is a miracle? Carp will show you. The video opens with Jay yanking you out of the wet market, follows the chaos all the way to the moment he throws you into the predator tank, and every high-intensity moment of your 3-day battle with the tank is cut right in. The video detonates the moment it goes live. In just a few hours, the topic crosses 10,000 views. Countless people click in because of the title alone. But by the time the video ends, the comments and reactions are nothing but shock. What kind of carp survives a bag with no water? Dropped from a floor up and still alive? This thing refuses to die. And the further you watch, the more impossible it gets. Viewers are watching with their eyes practically bulging out, dropped into a tank with a 30-degree temperature difference, and it didn't cook. It actually adapted. Hunted by a tank full of apex predators, it outmaneuvered every single one. The other fish brought back with it were all dead in under 5 minutes. But this one? Still going. And after a full night of being mauled, battered beyond recognition, barely hanging on, it came back the next morning stronger than before. The internet absolutely loses it. And then it gets even more insane. The carp dodges attacks before they come. It uses the environment. When the video reaches its end and Jay completely breaks down on camera, grabbing a pipe to go after you, comments flood in from every direction. The streamer can't handle losing. But then, when they see your movements through the murky water, everyone goes silent. If it wasn't verified by the original livestream footage completely unedited, who would believe any of this? How can a carp be this aware? The comment section explodes. This defies science. That healing speed is beyond explanation. If my koi worth tens of thousands had this ability, I'd feed it the best food money could buy every single day. This carp has a soul, I'm convinced. My heart is literally pounding watching a fish. People are breaking it down frame by frame. Others are just celebrating. The buzz is spreading fast. When the final clip of Jay losing his mind plays, a new wave of concern ripples through the comments. Oh no, the streamer can't take a loss. What if he actually kills the carp? He's going after it himself. There's no way it escapes that. Look at his face at the end. Things look bad for the carp. Tag me when he goes live. This streamer is an idiot. Just keep the carp alive. The views come to you. Ha! Some people just don't get it. You think that one carp is worth more than my whole predator tank? Could it ever match the prestige of my Arapaima? But while the debate rages on, new viewers are flooding in and tagging the original streamer everywhere. Everyone wants his channel. And fast, Jay's stream link appears under the video. His follower count rockets upward instantly, and everyone is waiting for him to go live. That afternoon, in his studio, Jay paces back and forth like a caged animal. His phone is non-stop. Platform alerts, fan messages, old brand partners all reaching out to ask what's going on. He's completely blindsided by the attention. When did he get this famous? Then he searches the reason, and irritation swallows him whole. He claws at his unwashed hair, feeling like he's going insane. The clock on the wall reads 2:55 in the afternoon. A few more hours until the stream ban lifts. Jay kicks the PVC pipe lying on the floor. It clatters across the room and stops right in front of the tank. He looks up and immediately sees it. The fish that's taken over the internet, leisurely circling his prized Arapaima, as if silently mocking him with every lap. Jay cannot wrap his head around it. Why hasn't his beloved Arapaima eaten it? And he understands even less why a single carp is pulling all this attention. He has a tank full of elite predators. His Arapaima alone is in a completely different class. Isn't it 10,000 times more impressive? Jay, the platform said one more violation and they'll throttle your reach. His assistant Min pokes his head around the door, choosing his words carefully. Maybe we skip the carp today? Even his moderators are flooding his messages, begging him to calm down. Jay's fist creaks as he squeezes it shut, but finally just waves tiredly. Go set up. I know what I'm doing. When the ban finally lifts, equipment is ready, and the stream goes live right on time. Jay forces out the stiff practice smile he's been rehearsing for 30 minutes. Hey everyone, I'm back. His voice is a full octave too high. It sounds painfully fake, but what he doesn't expect is, the numbers are even more insane than he imagined. Viewers pour in like a flood. In seconds, 5,000 people are live. The chat explodes. Where's the carp? Stop stalling. Show us the carp. You look terrible, streamer. Drop the act. You're furious, and we can tell. Please tell me you didn't actually kill it. Jay forces himself to ignore all of it. Today, I'm going to give everyone a proper tour of my tank ecosystem. His voice wavers slightly. He deliberately trains the lens on his prized silver arowana, but nobody wants to see the arowana. The carp. The carp. The carp. Nobody cares about your fish. We want the carp. It's not dead, right? Say something, streamer. Jay's temples throb. His nails dig into his palms. He draws one long breath and forces the words out from somewhere deep in his chest. He turns the camera toward the other side of the tank. Fine. If everyone wants the carp, then let's see the carp. The camera slowly pans. When the frame finally settles on the far end of the tank, the entire stream goes silent for one full second, then detonates. There it is. The carp, resting calmly right beside the Arapaima's enormous dorsal fin. One creature the size of a submarine, one nimble as a blade. Two creatures of impossibly different sizes forming a picture no one in the world expected to see. When the platform shuts the stream down by force, you watch Jay collapse to the floor, like a statue drained of life. You glide your tail, slip silently behind the Arapaima, and watch him fall apart with cold, detached eyes. You're honestly confused. What is this guy's problem now? And why does he keep looking at you like that? He's the one who bought you 3 days in a row, and somehow you're the one who feels like the problem here. Your mind is full of questions. You can see everything he does, but you have no hearing. Your lateral line can only pick up vibrations and powerful shocks. Through the glass and the water, you can't catch a single word. If only you could hear him. At least then you'd know what he keeps muttering about all day, and if he's cooking up something else to come at you with, you'd have time to prepare. You watch Jay get ready to leave and start drifting toward the Arapaima's corner, but then you stop dead. Your body freezes mid-glide. Something flashes through your mind, but it's too blurry to grasp. You scan the entire tank carefully. In the dim light, everything is eerily quiet. Nothing but the soft swish of predators moving through the water. Something is wrong. Very wrong. But what? You turn it over and over in your mind, eyes sweeping every corner of the tank, and then it hits you. The streamer ended the stream today without feeding anyone. The moment that registers, your expression drops. You don't wait another second. You bolt for the Arapaima's corner. This is bad. He didn't feed them today on purpose. He wants them hungry. He wants them to come after you. The Arapaima might hold itself together, but those piranhas, and the ones that need to eat several times a day, if they go hungry, things are going to get very bad. Deep in the night, the tank glass glows with a cold blue tint in the moonlight. The 30-degree water somehow feels like ice right now. You ease your tail into slow motion, letting your body drift in the calmest current you can find, burning as little energy as possible. The burning in your stomach is getting worse by the minute, like 1,000 tiny teeth gnawing at you from the inside. Almost 4 full days. You murmur it in your own mind. Your gills work with effort. Ding, player status check. Hunger level, 91. Critical. Stamina, 39. Weakened. Warning, sustained hunger will cause strength loss. Bubbles drift from your lips as you stare at the tiny particles floating in the water. The predators Jay has been deliberately starving are beginning to stir. You can clearly see the piranha school's movement becoming erratic. Their sleek bodies flash through the plants like silver lightning, snapping turns at random, flashing white teeth. They're even hungrier than you are. Your tail trembles faintly. A dangerous idea takes shape in your mind. These carnivores are starving. It's starting. Suddenly, a red-tailed catfish lunges past just above you, its wake stirring up the sand from the driftwood below. This normally sluggish creature has its gills spread wide now, bulging eyes scanning every corner of the tank. You tighten every muscle instantly. Driven by hunger, these predators could break their territorial codes at any moment. Player, be advised, 3 African tigerfishes have entered active state. Recommend finding cover immediately, but you don't move. Instead, you narrow your eyes and study every one of those restless predators. The silver arowana's scales have lost their usual sheen. It's circling anxiously near the rocks. The piranha school's movement is growing more chaotic by the second. Even the Florida snapping turtle has crept its tiny eyes out from its shell, blinking with alert suspicion. Good. Your tail starts to move. A strategy crystallizes. If you want to make my life hell, your precious fish are going down with me. You drift deliberately near the piranha school, then suddenly let your body tilt, moving sluggishly, twitching every few seconds for effect. The performance immediately draws the 2 hungriest piranhas. They fire toward you like silver bullets. Now, the instant before their teeth reach you, you explode forward, guiding them with precision straight into the resting red-tail catfish. Boom, water erupts. The piranha slam hard into the red-tail's flank. It instantly opens its massive mouth in blind fury. Both fish lock into each other immediately, scales exploding outward, blood bleeding into the water around them. Not enough. You swing around to the far side of the fight zone and slap your tail against the current to create noise. The commotion draws the starving silver arowana instantly. Its enormous body charges toward you like an underwater tank. You calculate the angle and sidestep at the last moment. The arowana can't stop in time. It plows straight into the piranha and redtail brawl. Crash! 3 predators instantly tangle together. The arawana's armored scales rake the redtail's skin. The piranhas latch onto the arawana's fin. The redtail lashes its tail in agony and clips the golden dorado passing nearby. The chaos spreads like a plague. The blood in the water pushes every starving predator past the point of reason. And it doesn't stop there. The other fish circle the brawl with rising aggression. Even the Arapaima drifts over, its massive form like an ancient predator, awakened from deep time, keeping its gaze fixed on the battle. You stay tucked in the driftwood gap, watching the chaos you directed with cold, steady eyes. The plan is executing perfectly. No food for you? Then these predators destroy each other instead. Every scrap of flesh drifting loose is one more chance for you to survive. And just then the Florida snapping turtle crawls up from the bottom, drawn by the blood scent. It looks slow, but its bite snaps onto the redtail's tail in an instant. Your moment. You dart behind the turtle. This old creature always drops scraps when it tears. And sure enough, several bloodied chunks of flesh are drifting slowly downward. You launch forward, catching the largest piece with perfect timing. The taste of real meat dissolves across your mouth. The feeling of fullness, absent for so long, nearly makes you shake. Just as you're savoring the rare meal, the battle suddenly escalates. The silver arowana takes a piranha bite directly to the eye. It goes completely berserk, slamming into the rocks and driftwood again and again. The entire tank trembles. Perfect. A gleam passes through your eyes. As the battle rages, the damage inside the tank gets worse by the minute. The silver arowana, worth 8,000, loses a third of its scales. The red-tailed catfish's beautiful tail fin is shredded beyond recognition. You drift to the glass and look out at the scales and blood threads dissolving in the water. A deep, satisfying feeling of revenge rises inside you. This is exactly what you wanted. At 6:35 in the morning, Jay pushes open his studio door with heavy dark circles under both eyes. He was at the bar until 3 in the morning, and his temples are still throbbing. That stupid carp has to be done by now. I starved it yesterday, and even if it didn't starve, my fish should have finished it off. He heads straight for the floor tank the moment he's through the door. Let me see it. Where's the carp? He's still rubbing his temple when his muttering cuts off cold. The breakfast bag slips from his hand. Scalding soy milk splashes his leg. He doesn't notice. The state of the tank hits him like a hammer to the skull. His silver arowana, worth 8,800, drags itself along the bottom like a wet rag. Massive patches of scales have peeled away, exposing raw pink muscle. His red-tailed catfish, worth 30,500, is curled in a corner, its iconic red-tail fin reduced to a few bare spines. 6 African tigerfishes, 480 each, float belly up at the surface. One is bitten clean in half. The scene short-circuits Jay's brain. He stumbles to the glass, lips trembling, scanning left and right. At least his Arapaima is okay. But even so, Jay's throat moves up and down. His legs give out. He drops to his knees in front of the tank with a thud. His fingers drag white scratch marks down the glass. His voice shakes in a way he can't control. My fish, my fish! You heard him coming long ago. Right now you're resting calmly behind the Arapaima, watching through the clouded, blood-tinged water as every emotion plays out on Jay's face. Confusion, shock, then anguish. That face that always wore arrogance is now white as paper. Veins stand out at his temples. The corners of his mouth twitch without control. A deep satisfaction floods through you. You spent all night risking your life to cook up a disaster for this guy, and it landed perfectly. And this is just the beginning. You deliberately drift over to a piranha carcass and pretend to nibble at it, exposing half your body, your round eyes flicking toward Jay the whole time, angling yourself deliberately so he can see exactly how alive and full of energy you are. As your shape drifts across his field of view, his gaze locks onto you and won't let go. When he sees what you're doing, Jay's breathing turns heavy. He lurches to his feet, grabs the edge of the tank with both hands, knuckles going white. It's you! His voice grinds out from somewhere between his teeth. It had to be you, you miserable fish! He spins around and lunges at his desk, frantically powering up his stream equipment. The moment the camera goes live, his pale face and wrecked hair fill the screen. What's going on this early? Jay, what happened to you? Where were you last night? Wait, what is that in the tank? The chat erupts. What in the world? What happened to the arowana? The piranhas are gone. Where's the carp? We want the carp. As if answering the call, you glide smoothly out from behind the driftwood. The scar on your head gleams under the tank lights. Your scales are more vibrant and full than yesterday. You even give your tail a clean, powerful flick right in front of the lens. Scar carp, MVP of the whole tank. The carp's revenge. Jay, where are all your fish? Where's the whole tank you had? Jay's left hand starts shaking beyond his control. He tries to breathe through it, then sees the chat and completely loses it. The streamer looks sick. Ha 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 ha. Career advice. Switch to carp farming. Love the energy. Can't stand it. Can't kill it. You have no idea what you're talking about. Jay's voice is cracking now. Do you have any idea what these fish are worth? The arowana was air freighted from Malaysia. The redtail. I raised it for 2 full years. And now it's all gone. All of it. His expression collapses from rage into pure grief. Both hands plunge into his hair and claw. The chat, meanwhile, is having the time of its life. Calm down, streamer. Don't cry, Jay. Get up. It's not that serious. It was definitely the carp. Jay suddenly shoves his face toward the lens, eyes bloodshot. That thing is not normal. Look at it. Not a scratch. How was that possible? Very possible. Because it's scar carp. Jay's breathing gets faster. He spins and tears through the tool cabinet. Today I'm going to deal with it once and for all. His hand lands on something metal. He goes still, expression shifting. It's a large fish handling net. Watch closely, everyone. Jay's voice drops to something unnervingly calm. Today I'll show you exactly how a professional deals with a problem fish. He picks up the net, hands still trembling, and aims it directly at you in the water. The chat erupts. Don't do it, streamer! Run, carp, run! You rid the danger in Jay's face long before he moves, and slip cleanly behind the Arapaima in one smooth turn. Jay tracks you with the net, but can't bring himself to strike. One wrong move and he could hurt the Arapaima, worth more than anything else in that tank. Get out here! Get out here right now! Jay hammers the glass with the net handle, his voice cracking into something that sounds dangerously close to crying. Come out! Just then, his phone explodes with vibrations. 3 messages from platform enforcement land in quick succession. Your stream has been reported for animal abuse. Large volume of viewer complaints detected. Stream suspended for 24 hours. The final message breaks him completely. He drops to the floor, staring at the devastated tank with empty eyes, mouth moving on autopilot. 8,800 for the arowana, 3,500 for the redtail, 1,200 for the piranhas. The chat hits its peak at exactly this moment. Ha 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 ha. Full meltdown, live on stream. Streamer, change your username to bully to tears by a carp. The chat scrolls at blinding speed. Then the stream cuts to black. After the stream closes, Jay sits where he fell, breathing hard, for a long time. Finally, he drags himself up and walks to the tank. He stares at the carcasses floating inside. His fingertips hover over the water for a full 3 seconds before he dares reach in. The moment his fingers touch the arowanas body, his brow twitches twice without his permission. He clenches his back teeth and eases the carcass into the net. That's strange. My fish have never fought like this before. Why did they go at it this hard? He bends down to look closer. His nose almost touches the rotting flesh. The stench shoots straight to his brain. He doesn't pull back. He stares at the wounds for over 10 seconds, then straightens up sharply. He slaps the carcass into the freezer and keeps going mechanically, scooping out fish after fish, until every dead fish has been cleared out. Only then does he fix his eyes on you with a cold, flat stare. So, you think you're something, huh? A short, icy laugh. The net thuds against the glass. I'll play this game as long as it takes. He drops into his chair and stares at the dark screen, mindful of your unhurried silhouette gliding through the water, and the mangled bodies of his prize fish. His breathing quickens again. It's just a carp. How did it do that to his collection? Has it actually evolved beyond a normal fish? Evolved? What am I even saying? He catches himself and snaps the thought away out loud. But even as he denies it, Jay knows the truth. He has never seen anything like you. 10 years keeping apex predators, and a carp has broken him? If word gets out, he'll never live it down. Jay's eyes harden instantly. He slams his fist into his own thigh. I've completely lost it. He shoots to his feet and dials fast. Joe, you got any red devil cichlids? Yeah, full-grown ones. At least 10. And what about the black devilfish? Still got them? I'll take all of them. Send everything over. He hangs up. Jay lets out a long breath. A cold smile tugs at his mouth. I've been spoiling my fish too much. That's why they couldn't catch you. Let's see how you handle what's coming next. Because at the end of the day, you're just a carp. What kind of waves can a carp make? After Jay leaves, you wait and watch until you're sure nothing is moving. Only then do you ease out of cover. Pushing him this hard today? Of course he broke. He'll come back with more, you know that. But you're not afraid. He's the one who decided to treat you as food. Losing a few fish seems fair. Anyway, today's survival reward. You haven't claimed it yet. System, claim today's reward. Ding. Drawing today's survival reward. Ding. Congratulations. Hearing amplified by 200%. The instant the system finishes speaking, a flood of sounds crashes into your mind. The water displaced by each fish, the hum of the pump, the crunch of feeding, even sounds from outside the tank. All of it razor sharp. Pure joy floods through you. This is perfect. With hearing this strong, next time Jay shows up, you'll hear every word he says. Hearing plus your enhanced sense of smell, plus your mind. Your survival odds are multiplying. These are your weapons. Another night. You drift slowly, keeping yourself balanced. 48 hours without a real meal, and your gut lining is starting to burn. You stirred up a war among the predators, but there was no safe window to actually eat. Once those things smell blood, they go completely feral. If you'd stayed in the middle of that, you'd have been dead. Warning, stomach lining beginning to self-digest. Today Jay didn't feed the tank again. Your eyes sharpen. Still playing this game? Fine, today I make it hurt again. Let's see how long you last. You ease yourself out into the open water, scanning everything around you. Your lateral line picks up something off. Two golden dorados are fighting over the driftwood territory. These South American predators are infamous for their aggression, and right now their foreheads are already locked together, scales grinding with the sound that sets your teeth on edge. You notice the larger one has a wound on its left eye, a leftover from last night's brawl. A plan crystallizes instantly. You move first toward the three wolfish African predators whose ambush speed is extraordinary, comparable to a human sprinter at full burst. When the nearest wolfish is just 20 centimeters away, you violently thrash your body. The movement churns up a dense cloud of bubbles and startles all three predators at once. They snap into attack mode instantly, but you've already slipped to the side of a larger fish passing nearby, vanishing perfectly into its shadow. That window is all you need. You launch like a released arrow, straight toward the wounded golden dorado, and at the very last moment before impact, you cut hard. Your tail slams hard into its wounded left eye. Boom! The struck golden dorado whips its head in fury, and collides directly with the charging wolfish. Both predators lock into each other instantly. Their rolling struggle snaps a brittle branch off the driftwood, and the broken spike slices across the dorado's belly like a spear. Blood spreads through the water. It's like a switch has been flipped. The second golden dorado joins the fight. Three predators, each around 40 centimeters long, tear at each other in the confined space. Scales and slime cloud the water even further. The blood sent inside the tank spreads like an invisible net, filling every corner where you move. You drift slowly, tail fins swaying gently, holding steady. The fight between the golden dorado and the wolfish, which you engineered, rages on. Pale red threads of blood bleed outward like an abstract painting. Not enough. You narrow your eyes. There is only one thought. He needs to hurt more. Today's battle has been brutal, but from Jay's perspective, the losses still aren't big enough. Only small fish have died. The silver arowana is badly wounded, but it's still clinging to life. For a rare few days, Jay has stopped causing trouble, but he also hasn't fed anyone. Not once. Another late night. You hover in the shadow between the decorative rocks and the driftwood, golden pupils contracting slightly. 7 days of surviving on the edge of death have made your scales extraordinarily sensitive. You can detect even the slightest temperature change in the water. Drawing today's survival reward, water pressure sense obtained level 1, a current-like pulse of sensation floods your nerves. You can see the entire tank's pressure map, the vortex the Arapaima creates as it moves. The pressure spikes as the piranha school turns sharply, even the subtle tremors caused by the Florida snapping turtle dragging itself across the bottom. All of it forms a clear picture in your mind. You give your tail a slow test wave to check this new ability. 20 centimeters away, every single opening and closing of a wolfish's gill cover registers in your awareness as precise, expanding rings of pressure. Combined with your enhanced hearing and smell, you can say with confidence, in this tank when it comes to survival, you are number one. But survival alone isn't enough. System, show panel, current player Evan, identity, carp constitution, 30, ordinary, strength, 15, weak, agility, 20, weak, talents, last gasp, water pressure sense, enhanced smell, enhanced hearing. The stats are considerably stronger than a week ago, but still nowhere near the creatures in this tank. If not for your mind, you'd already be gone. You flick your tail. Hunger tears at your stomach like fish hooks. 3 meters to the right, 3 golden dorados are on patrol. The largest one carries a wound on its left eye, the mark left when you tricked it into hitting the rocks 2 days ago. A soft stream of bubbles drifts from your mouth. You fix your eyes on something at the base of the driftwood, half a bloodied fin sunk during the brawl 2 days ago. To reach it, you have to cross through the patrol zone of 2 wolfishes. You run through the procedure you've built over 3 days of practice. Observe, predict, calculate. When everything lines up, you shoot through like a golden bolt of lightning, snatching the food scrap before the first wolfish even registers you. But as you turn to go, your tail accidentally grazes the driftwood. The vibration, barely anything at all, wakes the tiger shovelnose resting behind the rocks. That massive creature opens its jaws instantly, 6 whiskers locking onto you like radar. Worse, the blood scent draws all 3 golden dorados. Every scale on your body flares, but the fear sharpens your mind rather than clouding it. You deliberately charge toward the most aggressive one, the one-eyed dorado, and plunge down hard at the last instant. Its sharp turn throws up a wall of disturbed water that blocks all sight lines. You dart into the shadow of the artificial plants, letting your coloring fade dark. You can even feel those 6 whiskers sweep across your dorsal fin with an icy touch. After 3 minutes of life-or-death maneuvering, you make it back near the Arapaima's territory. You chew carefully while scanning the area, and notice some new marks nearby. A few unfamiliar scales with a strange blue-green shimmer. Something new is here. You push your water pressure sense to maximum, and sure enough, in the shadow of the filter, you catch an irregular pattern of water displacement. Something is moving in an erratic zigzag pattern, speed shifting unpredictably. Then, a stabbing electric pulse slices across your flank. You dart right on pure reflex. A split second later, a faint blue flash pulses through exactly where you just were. Through the murky water, you make out a slender, semi-transparent silhouette. A ghost knife fish, flickering with electric light. Your pupils snap tight. When did that thing get added to the tank? You didn't notice it at all. Fish need rest too. It was probably added while you were out. You disguise yourself as a piece of drifting wood, and let the current carry you slowly. You study the mutant knifefish and notice its attacks follow a clear pattern. After each discharge, it needs roughly 2 minutes of stillness to recharge. You file away this weakness, while also noticing a fresh wound on its belly. When moonlight filters through the curtains, you begin your nightly patrol. You sweep along the tank walls, searching for food scraps, but Jay seems determined to starve you out. You need a new source. Your eyes land on the algae coating the glass. You try a small bite. The bitter taste makes you want to spit it out, but it does take the edge off the burning in your gut. Late in the night, you notice something interesting. The mutant knifefish seems especially wary of the Arapaima. This observation immediately reshapes your escape strategy. If the knifefish starts sweeping with electricity, getting close to the Arapaima is the safest move. When the first light of morning touches the tank, there's a new shallow mark on your tail fin, left from testing the knifefish's range. But it was worth it. Now you know its maximum discharge range is 3 meters, and it cannot attack continuously. You brush gently along the Arapaima's belly scales, finding comfort in the only shelter this water offers. Survival is hard, but every day you survive you grow stronger, a little smarter. Another day passes and a heaviness settles over you. You're certain now, the ghost knifefish was placed here specifically to kill you. It knows better than to target the bigger predators. From the very start it has had you locked in its sights. Your scales tremble faintly, reading every microshift of electric current in the water. Danger assessment. High. Player survival probability down to 41%. The system's warnings keep firing. This one is going to be hard. You sink slowly to the bottom, pressing your belly against the sand covered in waste and rotting flesh. The smell perfectly masks your own scent. You observe a critical flaw in the knifefish's attack pattern. Before every discharge, its spine flickers blue exactly 3 times, like a trigger being cocked. 2 meters to the right, a cleaner fish is grazing algae. You watch the knifefish silently approach, spine blinking blue. Crack. A blinding blue flash tears through the water. The cleaner fish goes black and floats belly up in an instant. But what unsettles you is, that discharge is visibly stronger than last night. Is it evolving? Or was it holding back before? You quietly retreat toward the Arapaima's territory. But today, the giant is agitated. When you approach, it turns its head abruptly, cold eyes locking on you. Something is wrong. You stop immediately. The creature that normally doesn't even look at you is radiating hostility. You ease back, and at the same time catch an unfamiliar chemical smell irritating your gills. Water quality scan. Trace sedative compounds detected. He poisoned the water. Every scale on your body flares. This explains why the Arapaima is acting aggressive, and it means Jay is trying to dull all the other fish so the knifefish can work unimpeded. You dart quickly behind a cluster of artificial plants into a decorative sand pit. Through the gaps you can see the whole tank starting to shift in a frightening way. The piranha school is staggering. The wolffishes are slowing. Even the snapping turtle's movements are sluggish. The only one unaffected is the ghost knifefish. What a lunatic. You curse silently. This drug was designed for you. You force yourself into a half-dormant state, slowing your heart rate and breathing to resist the drug as much as possible. A sharp electric crackle from the right. The ghost knifefish is systematically clearing out every hiding spot. At most 3 minutes before it finds you. But the sedative has weakened your muscles to the point where your usual escape moves aren't possible. What do? Then your gaze locks onto the heater rod. A wildly reckless idea forms. You push every bit of remaining strength to extend your tail through a gap in the coral, gently stirring the current, guiding a dead water plant leaf toward the heater rod. With the drug affecting it, the knifefish's judgment is degraded. Sure enough, a blue flash crackles out. The knifefish charges at the leaf, strikes the heater rod with perfect precision. A muffled thud. The rod's fuse blows instantly. The backfiring current sends the ghost knifefish into full-body convulsions. It floats belly up. Its spine flashes blue wildly, clearly badly damaged. You don't waste the opening. You fight through the dizziness and swim toward the most concealed corner of the tank bottom, a hollow ceramic piece you found 2 days ago. Just as you're almost there, a violent surge of water hits. The Arapaima has drifted directly above you, its enormous body completely blocking your path. Those cold eyes glow with the light of a predator. You freeze. No, not right now, big guy. Predator in front, ghost knifefish recovering behind. At this life-or-death instant, you notice a piece of wire floating near the ceramic, insulation worn away, the bare copper wire trembling faintly in the current. An even more insane idea flashes through your mind. You use every last scrap of energy to coil the wire with your tail fin and push it toward the still convulsing ghost knifefish. The moment the copper wire touches its spine, crack! A blinding blue explosion rips through the water. The current surges through the entire tank. The Arapaima rolls away in pain. The wire acts like a lightning rod, channeling most of the electricity into the metal tank frame. When everything settles, the ghost knifefish has sunk to the bottom, its blue light barely flickering. You seize the moment and squeeze into the ceramic, every scale shaking. Ding. Player constitution has reached its limit. Hidden mutation triggered. Hidden talent activated. Electric resistance level 1. You blink, then laugh silently in the dark. Your scales tingle all over, residual electricity crawling across your skin like countless tiny needles. Through the ceramic cracks you watch the ghost knifefish drifting in the water, its spine flickering unevenly. Electric resistance integrating. Current progress, 23%. The new talent is rewriting your body, making you more sensitive to electricity and yet more resistant to it. Creak, the studio door opens. Jay walks in with heavy dark circles. When he sees the floating knifefish and the scorched heater rod, his face goes iron gray. How? His voice carries through the water, the corner of his mouth twitching involuntarily. You press deeper into the ceramic. Not yet. A faint electric buzz, a weak current pulse moves through the water. It seems to have remembered your scent and is drifting stubbornly in your direction. Warning, high-threat creature ghost knifefish entering range. When it drifts to a certain spot, you suddenly slam your tail against the inner wall of the ceramic. The dull vibration startles the Arapaima. Its tail whips on reflex, and the surge of water it creates bounces the heater rod back, pushing it toward the ghost knifefish. The knifefish discharges on instinct to defend itself. Crack, a second short circuit. The backlash current sends the knifefish sinking like a rag. And to your surprise, when the residual current washes over you, the pain is noticeably weaker than before. Electric resistance integration, 51%. You ease out of hiding. The entire tank ecosystem has shifted. The once fierce predators are all cowering in corners. Opportunity. Before the ache even fades, you drift toward the back of the filter where food scraps have accumulated. On the way past the knifefish, you deliberately slow down, testing your electric resistance. A weak blue flash fires, and the agony you expected doesn't come. It feels more like a mild, numbing breeze. Warning. Excessive contact with high-voltage electricity is life-threatening. The system snaps you back. You swim quickly to the filter and devour everything you can find. The feeling of fullness is unlike anything you've felt in days. You study the half-dead knifefish, dangerous calculation in your eyes. The wound on its belly has gone white with infection. It won't last 3 days. Maybe it can still be useful. You stir the water, pushing the knifefish toward the broken wire. Then you drive forward hard and ram your head into its spine. Crack. One final burst of electricity. The ghost knifefish stops breathing entirely, its body wedging perfectly between the heater rod and the wire. Then, the final step. You bite down on the knifefish's tail fin and drag it toward the golden Dorado's territory. The corpse still carries a faint residual charge, enough to keep the Arapaima away, and the route you've chosen runs through the water's blind spot. All you have to do now is use one threat to neutralize another. You place the body right at the Dorado's doorstep and pull back fast. Now you wait. Wait for Jay to come back and find that his golden Dorado has destroyed his prize ghost knifefish. What will happen then? You retreat into the ceramic, letting the hard-won meal settle, hunger finally easing. The water surface suddenly churns violently. You peek sharply through the rock crevice. Jay shoves the door open and strides in with a wired energy. Guys, today I'm showing you something special. His voice is sharper than usual. You drift quietly toward the glass and see him setting up 3 cameras, face flushed with an unhealthy excitement. At his feet sits a thermal case covered in biohazard labels. Jay's going big today. Scar, run. Something bad is coming. You stare, every sense on alert. When Jay cracks the lid open, you instantly feel an abnormal electric pulse ripple through the water. 3 purebred Amazon black devil eels, Jay shouts into the camera. 30,000 for these 3. Every single one professionally trained, conditioned to attack one specific target. He opens the case. Inside, 3 pitch-black creatures with serrated spine ridges along their dorsal fins swim in the container. Their spines flash blue-violet at irregular intervals. No way. Electric fish and Jay spent a fortune. The chat erupts. Jay lifts the first black devil eel with a specially insulated net. The moment it leaves the water, it thrashes violently, crackling in the open air. You see that? 600 volts! Jay's face is twisted with excitement. Specifically conditioned to only discharge at one target. He lowers the eel into the water. Alert! SS class threat species detected. Devil electric eel, laboratory mutant strain. Attack method, directed 600-volt discharge plus serrated bone blade biting. Special training has increased targeting precision to plus 70%. Your chest tightens. For just a moment, you almost consider giving up, but you pull yourself back. You want me dead? Not happening. You notice the black devil eel moves with rigid discipline, always maintaining exactly 3 meters from you, deliberately avoiding the other predators. Watch closely now, sweetie, Jay says, and suddenly pulls out a remote control, pressing the red button. Crack! A blinding blue arc shoots out like a striking snake. You throw yourself behind the Arapaima on pure reflex. The current grazes your tail fin, hitting the bottom sand hard enough to bubble it. It's remote controlled? Jay went full tech. Come on, Jay, fight fair. Even you are caught off guard. Fine. Let's see how long you can keep this up. Jay grins and drops the remaining 2 black devil eels into the tank. 3 electric killers immediately form a perfect encirclement, discharging at you with precision. A wolfish accidentally drifts into their range. It goes rigid immediately and floats belly up. Friendly fire. Jay's own fish! Jay's face drops. He frantically adjusts the remote, cursing under his breath, telling it to aim properly. You seize the chaos and dart toward the heater rod. When one of the black devil eels discharges again, you slam your tail hard against it, channeling the current along the metal rod. Crack! A brilliant electric arc ignites, and the backfiring current sends all 3 black devil eels into simultaneous convulsions. 666, Scar using their own power against them. Jay's face is green. Ha! Can a carp actually do that? Impossible. This is impossible. Jay hammers the remote, but the black devil eels have temporarily lost all mobility. The chat detonates. Regarding the streamer's high-tech fish being destroyed by a carp, recommend switching to koi farming. Jay's hands are shaking with fury. He spins and pulls a small bottle from the cabinet, labeled strictly forbidden. You're forcing my hand. He draws a few milliliters of clear liquid into a syringe and drips it into the water, a specially developed fish stimulant designed exclusively for the black devil eels. Jay can't handle losing. You sense the shift immediately. The 3 black devil eels stop convulsing. Their gill covers start pumping faster. The electric glow along their spines shifts from pale blue to blazing white-violet. Discharge frequency drops from every 5 seconds to under 2. Crack, crack. 2 arcs fire almost simultaneously. You barely dodge the first, but the second grazes your dorsal fin. Pain surges through you. but you're stunned to find the damage is far less than expected. Electric resistance experience plus 15%, current electric resistance fully integrated. You barely have a moment to feel satisfied with your progress before something worse happens. The drug-stimulated black devil eels lose all control and begin firing indiscriminately. One arc hits the silver arowana, worth tens of thousands, and sends it launching out of the water. No, stop! Jay lunges at the tank in panic, slamming his hands uselessly against the glass. Over 3,000 live viewers go speechless. Then the chat explodes. He overplayed it! Ha ha ha! Jay's whole collection's about to get wiped. No way! That has to hurt! Hurry up and save them! Crack! Current erupts through the water in every direction. The black devil eels thrash through the tank in a frenzy, and the whole tank is on the verge of total chaos. You scramble to dodge, but the space is limited. There is nowhere to escape the frenzied attacks. This confirms it. This thing definitely used some kind of technology. Before long, every fish in the predator tank has been hit. Jay completely loses his nerve, screaming for someone to help, desperate to get the black devil eels out of the tank. But you notice their discharges are getting weaker. They're burning out. This is the opening. If you don't take them down now, once every fish in this tank tips into full panic, you'll be the first one dead. Finally, you find the gap. You read the subtle currents of the tank, draw in a deep breath and think, with your electric resistance and your current constitution, you should be able to take it. Should be. No time to second guess. Crack. Blinding electric light engulfs you completely. Every single viewer watches as this carp charges straight forward through the current, driving through blue electric light head-on. And even more staggering, most of the electricity gets channeled through you into the surrounding water, and you, riding the electric thrust, at impossible speed, slam your head directly into the most vulnerable spot on a black devil eel, its gill. The runaway killer spins like a kite with a broken string and sinks to the bottom. The chat goes completely feral. That's allowed? Scar is literally cheating. No way. Reincarnated cultivating the undying lightning body? On the other side of the glass, Jay has completely unraveled. He fumbles with a net trying to scoop out the eels and accidentally touches one of his own devices. Gets shocked hard enough to yelp, and the remote control drops into the tank. Stream of the year. Streamer gets schooled by his own fish. Gifts flood the stream. Inside the tank, you don't pause for even a second. Strike while they're down. You push against the current, through the fading charge, and knock the remaining black devil eels over one by one. At the same time, the other predators in the tank begin to recover their senses and hunger fills their eyes. The alligator gar moves first, flat jaws snapping viciously, and crimson blood mist blooms through the water. Then the piranhas and the Goliath catfish surge in all at once, tearing the black devil eels apart on the spot, while even the snapping turtle in the corner extends its head to get its bite in. Crash! A massive wave erupts inside the tank. The Arapaima descends like a titan, its movement too fast for anyone to follow. Just a dark surge of water, and half a black devil eel carcass vanishes on the spot. When the last black devil eel floats belly up to the surface, the entire stream explodes. Jay sits collapsed on the floor, staring at the devastated tank with hollow eyes. His beloved silver arowana has lost half its scales to the electricity. The red-tailed catfish shivers in the corner. If he had known it would come to this, he would never have put those things in the tank. Not for anything. These were his treasures. Jay's heart is bleeding. The blood scent in the tank hasn't cleared yet. You float quietly at the filter outlet, letting the current soothe you. Your enhanced hearing picks up everything in the studio. Jay's heavy breathing, his phone buzzing, the hum of the air conditioning. The chat is still going. No way. Scar actually finished off the black devil eels. This is not a carp. This is a god of war. Jay looks sick, huh? Jay sits there like a mannequin, eyes moving from the dead fish to the wounded ones, finally stopping somewhere. His lips tremble. Not a single word comes out. Then, he reaches over and turns off the stream. The studio goes completely silent. You watch his every move, alert. Jay slowly gets to his feet, drifts unsteadily toward the feed cabinet, and picks up a premium koi food he has never once opened before. You must be hungry. His voice is barely above a whisper. He tears the seal with shaking hands, scoops out a measure, then stops abruptly before he can feed you. The sudden stop triggers your instincts. You retreat, tail fanning into a defensive posture. Sorry, I'm not. Jay pulls his hand back as if burned. His eyes go red. He sinks down slowly and sprinkles the food gently in a spot away from the other fish. You notice, this man who was so arrogant just days ago, now moves with the gentleness of someone who has had a change of heart. Every defense in you is still up, every muscle coiled, but the smell of that premium food is hard to resist. You creep toward it carefully, keeping enough distance to bolt at any moment. Jay kneels quietly in front of the tank and watches you eat. When a small sound startles you and you dart away, his shoulders visibly drop. Go ahead and eat, he sighs. Scar, I'm done fighting you. Those words make you ease up just slightly. You move behind the driftwood and study him through the gap. This streamer looks like a stranger to you now. He's using a cotton swab to gently treat the silver arowana's wounded scales, handling it like something fragile and newborn. As the light fades, he doesn't go live. Instead, he pulls up a chair and sits in front of the tank, opens his phone, and scrolls through recordings of his old streams. The footage shows him screaming at the camera that he'd kill you. He stops the video abruptly. A short, self-mocking laugh. His shoulders tremble slightly. Light catches something between his fingers. You're genuinely surprised to find that this man who once seemed invincible is crying in front of a fish tank. Late into the night, he finally stands and taps the glass lightly. Not the aggressive slam from before, but 3 gentle knocks, like someone knocking at a door. Good night. See you tomorrow. After the studio door closes, you finally let yourself fully relax. You drift up to the surface and pick at the remaining food in small bites. What was that? A ceasefire? You genuinely don't know how to feel. Since the day you were dropped into this tank, not one day has been easy. And now, this. What do all those near-death moments even mean now? You blow out a string of bubbles and let it go. Alive is what matters. This is the first time since you arrived that you can rest without fear. In the haze of drifting off, you almost feel like you're back in your past life, the one before you were a fish. Click. The soft sound of a door jolts you awake. Dawn is barely breaking, and Jay is already tiptoeing inside, dark circles heavy under his eyes, but carrying 2 brand new pieces of aquarium equipment. "Morning," he says, voice hoarse but surprisingly gentle. He carefully installs a new UV sterilizer light, worried about disturbing you. Water purification detected. Harmful bacteria reduced by 40%. The system's chime draws you to the glass. Jay immediately stops what he's doing and pulls a sealed bag from his pocket. Fresh corn kernels. "You must be starving after all this," he says quietly, and slowly scatters them into the water. The sweet smell hits your senses instantly. You swim toward it cautiously, and notice he immediately steps back 2 paces and even holds his breath. Fine. Food is food. You draw the kernels in one by one, and honestly, this tastes so much better than raw fish or pellets. When he sees you eating, Jay finally exhales. The corner of his mouth lifts without him meaning to. When the sun rises, Jay opens the stream, and the person on camera looks completely different from before. Hair neatly combed, clean shirt. "Good morning, everyone. Today we're not doing anything crazy." The stream erupts. Jay has been possessed. That calm voice is scaring me. "Is Scar okay? Let me see Scar." Jay doesn't respond to the chat directly. Instead, he says quietly, "I did a lot of thinking yesterday. Keeping fish shouldn't be like this." He points to the wounded Arowana. "Look what I did to them." He pauses. Something in his voice has changed. "I get it now. I respect it. Surviving in a tank like this, that's this carp's ability. From today, I'm done interfering. However long it lives is its own achievement." The chat goes quiet for a few seconds, then floods. "I'm crying. Actually crying. This is the fish streamer I subscribed for." Jay grew up. When your silhouette glides past the camera, a faint smile involuntarily curls at the corners of Jay's lips. You heard every word. Your feelings are complicated. At the end of the day, this world runs on the same rule. The strong devour the weak. You swish your tail and glide slowly in front of the camera, meeting the eyes of the people in the comments. "That carp is stunning. Look at those scales. The shine on them." Gift after gift floods the stream. That afternoon, Jay does something that stuns every single viewer. He removes every cable and device from the tank. He looks straight into the camera and says with full sincerity, "From today, this tank runs on pure natural ecology. As for Scar, I'm done interfering. If it can live for decades, I'll keep it for decades." Chat says, Jay has been reborn. As night falls, Jay stays an extra hour in front of the tank. He gives every fish a proper name. When he gets to you, he smiles. You're Scar. That's what the viewers call you, after all. But a murky current stirs up a wave of sand in the tank. You flick your tail fast. Your enhanced lateral line reads the pressure. 3 meters away, the Piranha School is forming an encirclement. Daily survival reward, muscle burst power plus 3%. The system chimes, and in that same instant you've already shot into the rock crevice. 3% is almost nothing, but it just saved your life. The Arapaima's massive shadow sweeps overhead, scattering the predators temporarily. You seize the opening and push toward safer water. Your gills pump fast. Even with the Arapaima's protection, every single feeding run is a dance on a knife's edge. Jay may have stopped coming after you, but this is still an Amazon tropical predator tank packed with apex killers. Less human interference just means more raw survival law, and you are still too small, too physically weak. Getting locked onto still means death. Splash. The surface ripples. Jay is scattering corn kernels, deliberately dropping them far from where the predators cluster. You wait until the other fish are drawn away by live bait before carefully approaching. You swallow 3 kernels fast and pull back immediately. Every extra second out there could be your last. Nutritional intake analysis, protein deficient. The system's warning draws your eyes to the space behind the filter, where shrimp meat scraps have accumulated, but 3 wolfishes are on patrol right there. The window is 2.3 seconds. Thud. The Arapaima suddenly slaps the water with its tail, scattering the wolfishes. You don't waste what it just created. You arrow through, snatch the largest piece of shrimp meat, and the whole thing takes under 1.5 seconds. But the Florida snapping turtle has noticed. That old hunter, shell-crusted with algae, slowly turns in your direction. Its clouded eyes lock on. You run the emergency plan. Erratic circles around the heater rod. The turtle's burst speed is terrifying, but turning is its weakness. After 3 sharp direction changes, it slams hard into the tank wall, and you're already back inside the Arapaima's protection. After dark, the danger multiplies. The nocturnal electric eels begin moving. You float quietly in the shadow beneath the Arapaima's belly, scales gently shifting, absorbing the faint electric current bleeding into the water. Your private training session. At dawn, everything changes suddenly. The Piranha School erupts into a frenzy, tearing into a rotting fin that carries residue from the fish medication powder Jay accidentally spilled while cleaning the filter yesterday. Some kind of stimulant is spreading fast. Damn. You clench everything you have. How is your luck always this bad? The Arapaima suddenly snaps its head upward. Its silver-gray scales flare wide. An extreme danger signal. You instinctively bolt toward your pre-selected shelter, the narrow angle between the heater rod and the glass. Boom! A red-tailed catfish collision sends the whole tank trembling. The frenzied Piranha School starts attacking everything indiscriminately. Blood mist fills the water instantly. Crack, an electric eel discharges without warning, cutting through the carnage, but the current hits the Arapaima too. It rolls in pain and smashes through the decorative coral. Your shelter collapses. 3 frenzied golden dorados are charging straight at you. Are you serious right now? No time to think. You lean into the current, riding the electric stimulation, pushing to maximum speed straight for the filter intake. That channel, barely 10 centimeters across, is the only way out. The metal scrapes fire across your scales, but you ignore it. Through the gap you watch the slaughter outside. The snapping turtle bites down on the electric eel, the Arapaima launches a Dorado through the water, and Jay is slamming his hands against the glass in a panic. After a long time, the killing stops. You ease yourself out of the tube, and find two piranha bodies in front of you. The electric eel is in two pieces. The Arapaima's tail fin is missing a large chunk. The survivors have gone still again, as if the madness never happened. Jay crouches in front of the tank, scooping out the wolfish body, worth 28,000. His mouth twitches. He mutters a quiet curse, drops the dead fish into the trash. The chat is a wall of calm emojis. And then Jay suddenly laughs out loud. Guys, honestly, I should have gotten used to this a long time ago. He turns and pulls 3 sealed bags from the refrigerator. Look at what I've got. New contenders, ready and waiting. Inside the bags are 3 creatures you have never seen before. One is pitch black with no eyes at all, navigating by electromagnetic field. An African blind spiny eel. One is covered in venomous spines. An Indonesian fire scorpionfish. And one that secretes hallucinogenic slime. A deep-sea fluorescent weaselfish. Scar is finished. Where did Jay even find these things? Didn't he say he was done targeting carp? But he never said he'd stop adding predators. We all want to see this, right? Jay rubs his hands together, then drags an even larger container out from behind him. Just kidding, though. The real ace is in this case. Inside the thermal box sits a creature that stops every single comment dead. A body like a snake, scales like a crocodile, a catfish's head, and a pair of bulging red eyes that glow like danger lights. The Venezuelan vampire eel. Jay's voice cracks with excitement. Scientists call it the Dracula eel. It can drain a living prey item down to a dried husk. He points to the new equipment. Don't worry. This thing only targets prey under 30 centimeters. It won't touch my big treasures. That sentence squeezes your heart like a fist. If you could speak right now, the words would not be polite. Jay narrows his eyes and notices your reaction. Looks like Carp knows what this is. The moment the vampire eel enters the water, every single fish in the tank flinches at once. It drifts like a dead branch, except for those eyes locked on you. Warning, SS-class threat species detected. Vampire eel, Hemagobius dragona. Player survival rate, calculated at 19%. The system detonates in your mind. Jay hasn't even finished speaking when the vampire eel explodes forward at impossible speed, clamping onto the barbed loach. What happens next silences the entire stream. The eel's mouth unfolds, revealing inner rings of 7 rows of hooked teeth, driving straight through the loach's gill cover. In just 10 seconds, a living fish becomes a shriveled husk. No way! Jay's notebook hits the floor. The vampire eel releases its prey and slowly turns toward the camera lens outside the glass. Its mouth still trails threads of blood. Those red eyes shimmer with an unsettling satisfaction, as if already asking, who's next? Jay stares at the shriveled body floating on the surface, completely blank. But you already know this isn't over. Sure enough, a split second later, Jay slams the table and forces out a twisted grin. Relax, everyone. We're just getting started. Jay lacks a lot of things, but fish is not one of them. He shouts at the camera. Let me show you something real. What a true Amazon apex predator looks like. He turns and walks off. Then, heavy footsteps approach. Jay and several large men carry in a massive water tank and drop it on the floor with a crash. He rips the lid off, excited. And in that instant, every scale on your body erupts. Inside the box, 3 dark brown creatures, torpedo-shaped bodies, backs lined with serrated bone plates, and those eyes, completely transparent, like glass beads set into their skulls, carrying absolutely nothing behind them. Giant crocodile hatchetfish. Even Jay's voice changes. The locals call them meat grinders. He lifts one with forceps, and the creature snaps its jaws wide open. 4 fangs, over 3 centimeters each, exposed in the open air. You can see the tiny barbs on the tips. Those teeth, like knives. Carp's getting skewered. In freshwater, the chat floods, but you can't read it anymore. Every word Jay says drives into your mind like an ice pick. You have 10,000 things you want to scream, but they all circle back to one: you are trying to kill it. Species analysis. Giant crocodile hatchetfish. Attack method: high-speed charge plus puncture and tear biting. Specializes in targeting the eyes and gills. The system's alarms erupt in your mind like explosions, sharp enough to feel like they're tearing through your consciousness. Just then, the first hatchetfish enters the water. The entire tank freezes, like someone hit pause. Every single fish goes still. Even the Florida snapping turtle pulls its head into its shell. The killer hovers in the water, its transparent eyes rotating with unsettling precision, scanning every corner like radar. You know what the waste part is? Jay wraps the tank wall. The hatchetfish becomes a black blur in an instant, fangs screaming across the glass with an ear-splitting shriek. 30 kilometers per hour sprint speed. The Ferrari of freshwater fish. The second hatchetfish is even larger. The moment it enters the tank, those glass bead eyes lock onto the Arapaima still recovering from its wounds. Your big protector, for the first time, shows something like wariness. Its enormous body actually begins to slowly back away. Watch carefully, everyone. Jay adjusts the camera with trembling excitement. The third one is a wild-caught giant, 58 centimeters. His words suddenly stop, because the moment the third hatchetfish enters the water, something happens that sends ice through every inch of you. The 3 killers begin coordinating with each other. They circle slowly, with you at the center, forming a perfect encirclement. Their dorsal fins pulse in rhythm, as if communicating in some coded language. 3-unit tactical formation. In fish, these 3 are like lone wolves. Scar, run. Even Jay is thrown off. This wasn't expected. You feel the blood in your body turning cold. Encirclement formation. 92% complete. Calculating survival probability. Even the Arapaima is rattled, circling without direction. The ring keeps tightening. You study their positioning. It's surgically precise. No matter which direction you break, at least 2 of them can charge simultaneously. Then, the left hatchetfish's dorsal fin snaps hard. Now, both fish on the right lunge at the same time, jaws spread wide. At this life or death moment, you dive hard downward. Your enhanced muscles unleash an explosive burst, letting you thread through the gap between the 2 sets of fangs by the thinnest margin. But the third one has been waiting all along, charging head-on like a cannonball. A sound like metal on metal rings out, and a tearing pain rips across your flank. The hatchetfish's fang rakes across your scales. The wound behind you shows white. Those teeth, like a surgical blade. Carp's scales held, though. The hunt has begun. You gasp. The blood from your wound immediately excites all 3 creatures. Their eyes start to fill with red. Pheromone release detected. Group recruitment behavior. Recommend disrupting their coordination immediately. Break their formation. But how? At the razor's edge of the moment, a flash. No matter how coordinated, these are still animals. And animals have greed. You reverse direction hard, not fleeing, but charging toward the head and tail zone. One powerful tail strike, and every shrimp scrap settled on the bottom clouds up into the water. Carp is giving up. Last meal before death. The next second, the jaw-dropping moment arrives. All 3 hatchetfish abandon the chase, drawn by the scattered shrimp. They want the food, but they don't want to let you go either. They start snapping at each other. Then, the smallest one can't hold back anymore. It wheels and bites the nearest teammate's dorsal fin. Boom! Jay lets out a cry. Carp is a master psychologist. That brain is beyond a fish. You don't waste a second. You shoot toward the strongest current near the heater rod, but the largest hatchetfish, the alpha, shakes off the distraction fast, and transforms into a blood-red streak charging straight at you. Fangs aim straight for your eye. This is it. And then, a silver-gray wall slams in front of you. The Arapaima. It throws its massive body between you and the strike. The hatchetfish's fang drives deep into its tail fin, and gets locked there by those thick scales. You freeze. You're such a good partner. The opportunity has arrived, now's the time. You pour everything you have into a full-speed ram against the trapped hatchetfish, driving it straight into the scalding heater rod. Crack! It thrashes wildly. When it finally breaks free, it's lost all balance. And the snapping turtle, which has been waiting, bites down on its head. The remaining 2 hatchetfish see this, and actually stop attacking. They slowly retreat toward the corner of the tank. Something new appears in those glass-bead eyes. Fear. The fight is over. Jay is stunned. All 4,000+ viewers are stunned. The chat goes silent for 2 full seconds, then detonates. Carp, you absolute legend. I'm screaming. Unreal. Who still thinks carp is a normal fish? You swim to the Arapaima's side and look at its bleeding tail fin. Something complicated moves through you. You only meant to find a shield, to use this big dumb creature for cover. But when did it actually start treating you like friend? Jay crouches in front of the tank, fingers lightly tapping the glass, eyes moving back and forth between you and the 2 hatchetfish trembling in the corner. Then, he grins. That smile feels colder than a hatchetfish fang. Guys, I just realized something. Don't say it. I'm scared. When Jay smiles like that, nothing is safe. Jay's tone suddenly shifts. Look at this size, this scale coloring, and most importantly, the genetics of something that not only survives this environment but keeps getting stronger. He slaps his knee hard. I'm finding carp a mate, to breed the next generation of super carp. You nearly choke on water. Are you serious? You're managing my love life now. Do you even have a partner yourself? You're a fish on the outside, but your soul is still human. A tank full of female carp? No, Jay laughs awkwardly and puts down the net he just picked up. Then he raises a small underwater endoscope camera. Let's be scientific about this. The black probe eases down into the water, and every scale on your body stands on end. You bolt behind the driftwood and stare at the approaching lens. Don't be shy, carp. The Arapaima gives a sudden tail flick, and a massive wave sends the camera flying straight into the turtle. The stream is instantly filled with an extreme close-up of turtle nostrils. Ha 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 ha! Turtle, have some manners. Jay pulls the equipment back with a defeated look. Fine, fine, fine. He opens fish photos on his computer and his mouse stops on one image. This one. German mirror carp, fewer scales, strong disease resistance, well matched. Reject arranged marriage, carp deserves free choice. You guys don't understand romance. Jay has completely disappeared into his own fantasy. Just imagine, if the breeding works, the offspring would be born with battle experience already. You watch Jay drag a dust-covered incubation tank out from the corner. A chill shoots from your tail fin straight to the top of your skull. A German mirror carp. Bastard. That's the one. Jay slaps his leg and starts calling the seller immediately. No. Relying on this impulsive streamer to stop himself is clearly not happening. You circle twice in agitation, scanning the tank's equipment. Heater rod, filter, UV sterilizer. A flash. The streamer cares most about his data readings. If something goes wrong with the data, he won't have the mental space for any breeding plan. Right, that's the move. You fix on one target, the heater rod. You search the tank floor and find a piece of coral that was knocked loose earlier. The plan locks in instantly. You carefully pick up the fragment in your mouth, slip past every fish's line of sight and drift quietly toward the heater rod. Meanwhile, Jay is still rambling to the viewers about the future carp dynasty. Warning. Body surface temperature rising. Warning. Faint electric pulse detected. That's the vampire eel. It's nearby. Your heart hammers, but you don't speed up. Before your body touches the scalding heater rod, your tail flicks with precision. Click. The coral piece rides the current and wedges perfectly into the gap between the heater rod and the metal bracket. Done. You shoot back to the Arapaima's side, casually brush against it like nothing happened. Heart pounding. Now you just wait for that tiny piece of chaos to do its work. But life is unpredictable. All right, everyone. Jay suddenly jumps to his feet. Great news. I just reached a breeder in the Czech Republic. Reserve the most beautiful German mirror carp they have. Air freight. Arrives next week. What? You feel it like a lightning strike. You nearly lose your balance. Czech Republic. Air freight. Next week. Your little sabotage hasn't even had time to take effect, and the bride is already on a plane. Detecting minor environmental factor shift. Player action has triggered an unknown chain reaction. Proceed with caution. The system's chime rings out cold and flat, almost mocking. You stare at the heater rod still doing its job, then glance at the vampire eel in the corner slowly opening its eyes. Red, like searchlights from somewhere below. Something becomes clear to you. Gentle resistance isn't going to cut it. To survive, to escape being assigned a fate, maybe the only answer is to make the water so murky that no one can see clearly. You look again at the heater rod still quietly radiating heat, then glance at the vampire eel in the corner, the one that just finished its snack and is lazily digesting. Those evil red eyes are half open, half closed, radiating the particular kind of danger. Soft moves are useless. The only way forward is to make this water so turbid as possible, so turbid that this insufferable streamer has no mental energy left to think about any breeding plan. Meanwhile, Jay is sitting there happily cradling his phone, enthusiastically telling the stream's viewers everything. Guys, I'm telling you, my contact over there just sent photos of the fish. Proportionate build, shining scales, and most importantly, gentle temperament. It's absolutely worthy of KPR. He even holds a photo of the German mirror carp up to the camera. Under professional lighting, the fish is undeniably beautiful. Look at this belly, clearly built for spawning. Jay points at the screen with a big grin. We'll set up a little love nest for them. No, a breeding room, plenty of water plants, temperature raised a few degrees. What should the fry's first food be? Jay, are you serious right now? Carp isn't even fully grown. I feel like carp is panicking. It looks like it's trembling. Fish don't tremble. No, look, carp keeps pressing closer to the Arapaima. A few viewers pick up on it in the chat. They seem to sense your unease. And they're right, you are uneasy, anxious even. You press yourself against the Arapaima's massive body, but even those cold scales can't settle the noise inside you. You have to do something. Right now. Your eyes sweep the tank fast. The vampire eel has just fed. It won't want to move yet. The two remaining hatchetfish are still huddled in the corner. The snapping turtle still shake and wait. Your eyes lock onto the two surviving hatchetfish. These two were completely humiliated a few moments ago by you and the Arapaima together. Their hearts must be burning with it. If you can provoke them into attacking something bigger like that drowsy vampire eel, the moment this thought surfaces, it spreads through your brain like exploding water plants. The risk is enormous, but so is the reward. If two sets of apex predators go at each other, the chaos that follows will absolutely overwhelm Jay. You take a deep breath, then a hard tail whip, generating a strong undercurrent, while your tail fin precisely catches a few grains of sand and plant fragments, riding the current, carrying them into the shadow of the driftwood. The move is fast and invisible in the chaos of the tank. But for the vampire eel resting in silence, this sudden disturbance reads as a direct challenge. Those half-closed red eyes snap wide open, blazing with the fury of something interrupted. Almost simultaneously, the two hatchetfish, still on edge, are pulled by the commotion. They register the vampire eel's reaction, see the debris drifting past, and misread the signal. The battle has left them hypersensitive. The slightly larger hatchetfish's dorsal fin snaps upright. It launches like an arrow, cutting through the water with a sharp hiss, driving straight toward the vampire eel as it lifts its head. Jay's fantasy evaporates in an instant. A grinding, teeth-setting, tearing sound fills the water. The hatchetfish's fang leaves a pale scratch across the vampire eel's slick body. That is all it takes. The creature from the deep lets out a low gurgling sound and strikes back at an angle that shouldn't be physically possible. The second hatchetfish, seeing its partner engage, flanks from the side immediately. In an instant, the center of the tank becomes boiling chaos. Vampire eel versus two giant crocodile hatchetfish. Three apex predators tear into each other, rolling and crashing. Water exploding outward, scales and torn tissue drifting through the water. The driftwood gets knocked out of place. The bottom sand is stirred into a murky storm. Stop! Stop! Everyone stop! Jay completely loses it. He drops his phone, runs to the tank, and tries to separate them with a net. But looking at those three creatures in a blood frenzy inside, he can't bring himself to reach in. The stream detonates. No, no. Vampire eel versus hatchetfish. Jay, move. Your fish are dying. Turn off the lights. Try turning off the lights. I feel like carp caused this. Didn't it flick its tail just now? No carp is too kind to start a war. Inside the tank, you press close to the Arapaima, feeling the violent shockwaves and churning water from above. Your heart hammers, not from fear, but from pure exhilaration and tension. It's working. Is the water murky enough yet? You watch Jay flailing helplessly, the three predators tearing each other apart, the German mirror carp breeding plan. Who has room for that now? Warning. Tank ecosystem severely disrupted. Hostile creature conflict escalating. Unknown risks rising sharply. The system fires again, but this time you hear something like relief underneath it. Survive first. Everything else can wait. At the center of the tank, the battle hits full intensity. The vampire eel's body is impossibly slick, constantly twisting to deflect the hatchetfish's frontal charges. But the two hatchetfish display remarkable coordination. One drives the main attack, the other circles for an opening. Slice. One hatchetfish finds the gap, accelerates hard, and its razor fangs rake across the vampire eel again. A few slime-coated skin fragments drift down. The pain triggers the eel's true nature. It snaps open the hidden mouth organ concealed beneath its folded skin, its edges lined with dense, razor-sharp barbed hooks. like a flower blooming from somewhere beneath hell. It lunges at lightning speed toward the hatchetfish that struck it. The hatchetfish twists hard, but a fraction too slow. The vampire eel's organ drags across its flank, leaving a clean row of bloodlines. Thud. The second hatchetfish seizes the moment and drives hard into the vampire eel's body. Three creatures spinning like high-speed tops, churning the tank into something like boiling mud. Stop. Everyone stop. Jay is sweating, the hand holding the net shaking, able to do nothing but roar helplessly. Then, he finally thinks of the lights. He lunges for the wall switch like a drowning man grabbing a rope. Click. The overhead light cuts out. The studio holds nothing but the faint glow of the screen. The tank plunges into darkness. The crashes and biting sounds stop dead. The world feels like it's been paused. In the dark there's nothing but the pump's hum and the solid beat of your own heart. You strain your eyes open wide, but there's only a blur of faint glow. Have those three stopped? Or is this just the stillness before the next storm? The water is murky enough, but what comes next? You press close to the Arapaima, feeling for the first time that this tank's water runs deeper than you ever imagined, and colder. You may have pushed this too far. The entire tank is unnervingly silent, the quiet before a storm. System. Just draw today's survival reward first. Things have come this far. All you can do is roll the dice. Ding. Drawing today's survival reward. Ding. Congratulations. Natural fish affinity obtained. Level 1. The system chimes and you blink. Natural fish affinity. What in the world is that good for? Then something shifts. In the darkness you can sense the creatures around you more clearly than ever. Not just through sight or your lateral line, but something more like an emotional connection. You feel the Arapaima's stillness, and beneath it, a faint but unmistakable protectiveness, directed at you. The sensation is strange, like invisible threads spreading through the water. Without thinking, you press your head gently against the Arapaima's belly. A calm you've never felt before rises inside you. And then, click, the overhead light comes back on. The sudden brightness makes every fish flinch. Jay stands in front of the tank, face iron gray. The water is still murky and unsettled. The two hatchetfish have retreated to opposite corners, their bodies marked with visible wounds. The vampire eel has pulled back into the sunken shadow of the driftwood, curled in on itself, only those red eyes still flickering with cold malice. Jay looks at the devastation inside the tank, too angry to form words. Jay, time to clean up the battlefield. Jay must be heartbroken. Was Carp scared? Look, Carp has been hiding behind the Arapaima this whole time. Smart. Jay picks up the net and starts clearing the debris. He has absolutely no mental space left for anything about German mirror carp right now. Meanwhile, you quietly explore your new power, Natural Fish Affinity, Level 1. If you're reading this right, this is an extraordinary ability. You can detect who is hostile towards you, and even dampen that hostility. You quietly sweep your gaze across the other residents of the tank. A sizable golden dorado is hovering in the mid-level water, and a polypterus is lying flat at the bottom, like a living fossil. You try activating the strange affinity, focusing on the golden dorado and sending out a single wordless signal. I mean you no harm. The dorado had been watching Jay's net warily, but it seems to sense your attention. It slowly turns its head toward you. Normally this kind of direct eye contact would very likely trigger an attack, but this time it just stares at you for a few seconds, without shifting into a threat posture, and then slowly turns away. There's something here, a flicker of excitement. You shift your focus to the polypterus, and try to project the idea of peaceful coexistence. Its tiny eyes seem to blink, then it goes back to not moving at all. Okay, this one is probably just naturally dull-witted. But that's fine. This is still a massive step forward. You drift back to the Arapaima. Its massive body shifts subtly, drawing you into a more sheltered position, while its enormous tail fin makes a slow, casual sweep of the surrounding water. A wordless declaration, this one is under my protection. The outline of an invisible, fragile alliance is beginning to take shape. You glance at the vampire eel lurking in the shadows. Neither of those two can be counted on right now. The snapping turtle, still motionless as ever. But that's fine. You swish your tail, and for the first time in this danger-filled tank, you feel a faint sense of control. As for that German mirror carp, leave it aside for now. You give the frantic J one sideways glance. Deal with your mess first, then you turn back to the Arapaima. From now on, I'm sticking with you. You brush against it again, feeling a confidence in your chest that hasn't been there before. Once you've understood how the affinity works, your mind starts racing. Wait, if you can earn the goodwill of these predators, you can recruit them. Right now, the biggest threat in this tank is the vampire eel. Slippery, cunning, dangerous, it has to be dealt with first. But you and the Arapaima alone can't handle something that moves like a shadow in mud. You need allies. You focus your intention on the golden dorado again, and try to transmit something more specific. Cooperation. A shared threat. You ease forward, drifting a few body lengths toward the dorado, turning sideways to expose your unscarred flank, a sign of no threat. At the same time, you pulse the affinity again and again, carrying the same message, vampire eel, dangerous. Deal with it together. Before long, you feel the dorado's emotional state begin to shift. The pure wariness takes on a new texture, confusion, and something like consideration. It doesn't lunge at you. That alone is a start. The golden dorado slowly adjusts its angle. It turns to face the driftwood where the vampire eel is hiding. That movement alone tells you it received the signal. A surge of quiet joy. Keep going. You fan your tail gently, nudging a few floating plant leaves toward the driftwood, both as guidance and as another small provocation to the eel. The golden dorado seems to read your intent. Its golden body arcs in a slow, graceful curve, taking a wide route, approaching the driftwood from the opposite side. As for the polypterus and the catfishes, you dismiss them with a mental shake. Getting the Dorado on board is already difficult. You move again, this time head-on toward the driftwood, matching the Dorado's rhythm. You feel its emotions sharpen. Jay is carefully scooping debris with the net, muttering to the camera, "I'm exhausted. How did it get this bad today? Stop complaining, Jay. Go check on Carp. Is it causing trouble again? Everyone look, Carp and the Golden Dorado? Are they forming an alliance? Are you serious? Fish don't form alliances? Wait, look at the direction they're both swimming. They're both heading toward the vampire eel." The chat makes Jay glance up instinctively. His hand freezes. In front of him, the scarred carp is moving in a strange, wordless sync with the Golden Dorado, both heading with clear intent toward the driftwood, and even stranger, the Arapaima is behind them both. Its massive body drifts slowly forward, as if providing cover. These three fish, who normally either antagonize each other or completely ignore each other, are moving as one. Jay's mouth slowly falls open. The net clatters back into the tank. The splash startles the vampire eel inside the driftwood. Its slender body snaps taut. Those crimson eyes lock onto you and the Dorado closing in. The moment the vampire eel reacts, you and the Dorado accelerate almost in unison. You take the front, move fast, draw its attention, bait the eel away from the driftwood. The Dorado flanks from the side, its golden body launching like a fired arrow at stunning speed, cutting off every possible escape route. Jay cries out. The stream erupts. Carp is impressive. Carp is commanding a predator fish. How is a fish doing this? Jay, look at what your carp is doing. I thought you were keeping a carp. Turns out it's a military strategist. Forget marriage, I will finish off these guys first.